The rise to the top of Daniel Rowden is completely unknown to most people, who has only come onto the scene recently. Daniel shows bags of potential at the age of only 23 years old, and after a rocky past 18 months, he is finally beginning to find some good form and shine on the biggest stage. For the next 5 to 10 years, Daniel is expected to be battling it out at the top alongside fellow Brit Max Bergen, which is a brilliant sign for British athletics. Daniel Rowden established himself as one of the main competitors to look out for in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics after his stellar display in the British Athletics Championship 2020. Rowden wasn't the favourite coming into the race as he lined up alongside Jake Wightman, who mainly specialises in the 1500 metres. Wightman is a much more household name than Rowden, having come third in both the Commonwealth Games and European Championships and having an amazing PB of 3:29.47 in the 1500 metres. Rowden came into the race with no fear and proved that he has the speed and strength to challenge such names and come out victorious. As the gun went to signal the start of the race, both Jake Wightman and Daniel Rowden battled to establish a strong place at the front. And both of them did just that as Wightman and Rowden settled into second and third, while Robert Nash took the race out in first place, going through 200 metres in 25.2 seconds. At this point, both Wightman and Rowden must have been feeling confident as they both found themselves in a prime position to take the race on at any time. But obviously, the two felt confident where they were as the standings remained the same as they went through 400 metres in 51.94 seconds, with Robert Nash still leading the race. However, by the time they went through 600 metres, Jake Wightman had enough, deciding to take over Robert Nash with Daniel Rowden following closely behind. At this point, the majority of the field looked as though their lungs were bursting out of their chests, but that wasn't the case for Daniel. Rowden still looked very comfortable and relaxed, happy to let Wightman do the work up until the last 100 metres, backing his amazing finishing kick to prevail. And it did just that, as Wightman powered away to the finish with amazing strength. Rowden somehow found a way to surpass Wightman, seemingly with ease, putting a metre or two gap between him and Wightman in the process. As a result, Daniel comfortably finished in first with an amazing time of 1:45.95, which is a statement not to be said lightly. After the race, Daniel described Jake Wightman on Instagram as the most complete middle distance runner in Britain, which pretty much sums up how much of an accomplishment this win was. But what led Daniel Rowden up to that point, you might be asking? Originally, Daniel was a talented footballer, but he also showed glimpses of talent in running at school. As a result, this prompted Daniel to join a track club, which he did age 11. But at this point, Rowden didn't have a full dedication towards running until at the age of 14 years old, he went to see the London 2012 Olympic 800 metre final. It was then when David Rudisha triumphed and broke the world record in an unbelievable time of 1:40.91. This fired up Daniel's inspiration, giving him the drive and determination to claim the English school's 800 metre title. But it wouldn't be a smooth sailing rise to the top from then on, as he started to get stomach pains whenever he was doing tempo sessions. Doctors struggled to diagnose his illness for a few years, until he joined the World-Class Performance Programme, where Dr. Neil Pollock suspected his problem might be MALS, which stands for Median Accurate Ligament Syndrome. Neil then directed Daniel to a specialist, who then recommended surgery. Daniel Rowden told Athletics Weekly, "When I was doing running, such as tempo work, my gut wasn't getting enough blood or oxygen and was giving me stomach pains. After the surgery, it took Daniel 5 days until he could walk without pain, before eventually being able to jog 8 weeks later." But by this time, it was the twilight of the track season, and he had already missed the European Under-23 Championships, which he had been dreaming of and training towards. So Daniel decided to focus on being ready for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and coming back stronger than ever the next year. The following September, Rowden switched training groups from his longtime coach Richard Thurston to a thriving group run by Matt Yates. However, Daniel spent the autumn period cross-training following a twisted ankle. But by the start of this year, Daniel finally got some training in, travelling to South Africa for a training camp with British Athletics. It was my first ever training camp abroad and a great experience. It was all going well for Rowden at that point, as he started to build up some speed and strength going into the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. But then, the unexpected pandemic struck, and he saw his Olympic dreams ripped to shreds. Although Rowden lives near Epping Forest, where he does the majority of his steady running, as well as living near a track, Rowden found it hard to maintain motivation, combined with exams forcing him to scale down his running. Training was pretty non-existent for a while, and in May I was running about 15 miles a week. I lost all motivation when the Olympics wasn't happening. I was also into heavy revision to sit my university exams from home, so my coach just told me to run when I felt like it and keep fit if I can. But now that lockdown restrictions have been eased, this has regained some of Daniel's motivation, and he is enjoying his training more and more each week. It was fun training with no pressure and having good times with the guys and good sessions, and if there was a terrible session, then not feeling too bad about it. It's been a different kind of summer, but it seems to be paying off now. But now that Daniel is enjoying his training once again, he has regained his form and is looking very fast going into the cross-country season. Daniel has now been victorious in both the British Athletics Championships 2020 and the Continental Tour Gold Meeting in Zagreb, where he set a European leading time of 1:44.09, along with a new personal best. Now that Rowden is in very good form, he will be a force to be reckoned with in the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. Anyway, that's the story of Daniel Rowden and his incredible rise to the top. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you wouldn't mind pressing the like and subscribe button, that would be a massive favour.